Fates and Gates, and he's a heavily into the Bible, y'all. And I did a video and I talked about this, right? There is three categories of people that get really deep in the Bible. One is they're going to be an abuser, two, they're going to not be an abuser, or three, they're going to be a victim. Okay, and there's some other categories as well that I thought of. If you're heavily in the Bible, you're either going to have a really heart, you're going to develop a bad heart, or you're going to be soulless, which means it's like no heart ever existed. So these are the categories. So I did a video called This Book Destroys Lives and Minds. So I did a live about that. And so I'm going to be doing a reaction to Mr. Fates and Gates. And yeah, so let's go. So it's going to be really interesting because um it's going to be a perfect example of how just because someone's deep into the Bible doesn't mean they're going to be a good person. And I'm going to be going over my perspective, and keep this in mind. Fates and Gates, I came across his channel because he is very critical of Ringo TV. However, my perspective and my intuition and prophetic gift says that he's very jealous of Ringo TV. And keep this in mind. Fates and Gates, none of the videos that I watched about him does he disclose anything about his personal life. Nothing so far. I mean, I haven't watched all of his videos, but one thing I can say about Ringo TV and myself, we talk about our personal life and our background. So no matter what Fates and Gates says, Ringo TV is going to be consistently providing for his wife and daughters. I saw Fates and Gates. He doesn't appear to me that he takes very good care of himself. Okay, so he's a very envious and jealous black man. And that is my perspective of him. So thank you so much for the like, y'all. And I apologize if my voice sounds a little weird. I did have a little mini asthma attack within the last 30 minutes. I had an asthma attack, but it went really good. It went really good. And so I probably kind of triggered it off myself too, because I had a large coffee instead of a small one. And I already know that when I'm going through an asthma phase, I am not supposed to be drinking coffee, y'all. So I did it to myself. Okay. So I can handle a cappuccino and I'm drinking that, and that kind of helps my throat after an asthma attack. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting. Please click another like if you like. And so guys like this, they hate girls and ladies. These type of guys hate girls and ladies, and it's nothing this type of guy can do to stop it. And him getting involved with a Bible and reading a Bible does not stop his genetic code of hate. And wait till you hear it. I'm going to point it out. So fair use, y'all, because I'm going to be playing this video. Please click another like and keep this in mind. I do my lives kind of like a radio show, but when the live is over, I always put the video that I did fair use on in the description box. So always keep that in mind. Any video I do or go over as a reaction, I'll put it in the description box. Thank you. Fair use, y'all. Fair use. Click another like, please. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Just 6 months after they got married, the same husband who appeared to be in love and very excited to be marrying his new wife, Malia Bess, ended up in a 3-hour police standoff after he did something very bad to her after seeing her with another man. The couple, Ron Christopher Allen and Malia Allen, got into it after Ron realized she had a work husband who she was cheating with. So on the 31st of July, he waited for her to get to work, then snuck up to them and did the unthinkable. Was she really cheating after just 6 months of marriage, or this is a case of delusion and abuse? As seen here, someone posted online saying, the leasing...
Fair use, y'all. Cheating is not a good enough reason to murder anyone. Just the act of cheating. Now, there's been some cases where somebody murders someone because they cheated on them and gave them HIV or herpes or other deadly diseases. However, someone cheating alone, some people think it's a good enough idea. There's parts of the Bible that actually encourages jealousy. That's why I said in the beginning, the Bible is either going to make you an abuser, make you a victim, or make you not be an abuser. It's not making you do anything, it's your choices, right? But just the fact that a Bible can contribute to someone being an abuser, it's not a good thing. Because the Bible, it's automatically beginning unfair, right? Because ladies have to submit to men according to the Bible. So someone cheating is not a good reason to murder them. And trust me, if someone murdered your daughter, because this is going to be a lady in this case that gets murdered, right? Malia Bess, if someone murders your daughter, the fact that they were cheating on their husband will not be a good enough reason. And I know this for a fact just through watching a lot of the court cases. When you really get involved with watching the testimonies and witness statements and the witness testimony and talking to the parents, it's just not a good enough reason. It's just not. And I will explain more in this case of why it's just absolutely not a good reason for anyone to be killed. And I mean, that's inclusive of the man. Okay. Whether it be the man or the lady, just the fact that they cheated on someone that they're married to does not give their spouse a reason to murder them. Now, do they have a right to divorce the person? Of course. That's what should be done. Divorce them. What about not marrying them in the first place? You know, we got to stop thinking that marriage documentation is so from God, right? Look at all the murders that come out of paperwork marriages. Look at all the murders. And we still have not really figured out that it may not be as holy as you think. Look at the marital vows, to death do us part. Death, the word death shouldn't be in your marital vows. You're already off to a bad start. Yeah, it's going to be to death do you part, all right enough. So fair use, y'all.
Leasing office lady, which is Malia, and the maintenance man, who are both married, had an affair, and the husband of the leasing office lady shot her. This person was referring to Malia.
I don't know why the narrator would suggest the husband may have been delusional.
And this is Mr. Phaeton Gates. He's a big Bible believer, and his brain does not go past the Bible. There's no logic being used. He's stuck in a very old book, and it's really sad. It's like it's taking his brain cells he's stuck in a period of time in history that existed different from the way we live today. So this is Fates and Gates talking. And so I will be giving my perspective and the views that I don't agree with that he's saying.
Narrator would suggest the husband may have been delusional, considering the details to be unveiled in this narration.
She was a happy person who was trying to live
So what Fates and Gates is saying is that the wife, the husband was not delusional because the wife was really cheating. So Fates and Gates is basically stating that why are they saying the husband was delusional? Whether he was delusional or not, a murder should not come out of it. And wait till you hear the age difference between the two. That's another reason a murder shouldn't have came out of it, because this man is old enough to know better than to murder his wife.
trying to live and enjoy her life like most people. Malia met Ron Christopher Allen and they started dating even though they have a very big age gap. Malia was 24 and Ron is 52. Ron, a father of...
Key information. Okay, Malia was 24 years old and Ron, her husband, was 52 years old. They shouldn't have been married. 28-year age difference is too much. I believe this. Whomever you marry, it's usually best that they not be old enough to be your dad or your mother. So I used to think 10 years up, 10 years down, whether it be the man or woman. The woman could be 10 years older, the man could be 10 years younger. But over time, through seeing different relationships, I expanded that a little bit because I saw situations where people were like 15 years apart and it worked. And sometimes the man was older and sometimes the woman was older. Okay, so 28 years, whether it be the man is older or the lady's older, that's too many years. So that's a red flag right there. Why does a 52-year-old man want to be married to somebody that's 24? Because he knows he's an abuser. He wants control. These type of relationships are not about love. A normal 52-year-old man, a normal one, it might kind of disgust him to be married to somebody that's 24, especially if he has daughters. I've heard men say stuff like this. I've heard men say, and these were not men I was with, but I've heard men say stuff like, I can't be with somebody that's 24 or 22 because they're the same age as my daughter. So guys that have daughters, sometimes it's very uncomfortable for them to be with someone that's kind of like close in vicinity to their daughter's age. Okay. And to me, it makes sense. It's just like with me, I have sons, right? It would be kind of gross for me to be dating somebody my son's age, right? It's kind of like somebody my son's age reminds me of my sons. That's too much of an age gap. But for me, my standard, 15 years is the most. Okay, I wouldn't want to be with a man that's more than 15 years older than me or a man that's younger than 15 years. That's like the max. And to utilize that standard, one or both parties need to be well cared for, which means that to the average person, you can't tell they're as old as they are. So say it's an older woman and she's 45, okay? and she decides to marry a man that's 30. Now, if she's a 45-year-old woman that looks like she's about 30, that may work out. A 30-year-old man and a 45-year-old woman, in my opinion, could be together because it's that 15 year. Like I said, I used to think 10-year age gap, whether it be the man older or the woman older, but I've increased it to 15 years because I've seen marriages that have actually lasted. And a lot of them are the woman's older. I've seen men that are about 40 marry women about 55, and those marriages are actually working out. But the thing is, with those marriages, I would not know that they were not the same age. I know they're the same age because I know them through the community. But because they look the same age, you can't tell. But 28 years, this 24-year-old girl in this video married to a 52-year-old man. Come on now. That's too many years. 28 years, that's way beyond 10 years, and it's way beyond 15 years. That's like way, way too old. Whether it be the woman older or the man older, 28 freaking years, that's too old. Okay, point blank.
Ron is 52. Ron, a father of 3, had some running with the law. He was addicted to pills, which he was supposed to be in court for, but never did. Malia loved him so much. She posted how—
And he addicted to pills. 52 years old, addicted to pills. So he's 52 in age, but not 52 in maturity. That's another thing. And he knows he's not mature. That's why he's dating someone younger than him. A mature 52-year-old man may not be interested in a 24-year-old, not a mature one. But this is a 15-year-old, a 52-year-old. This man, Ron, he's a 52-year-old drug addict because he's addicted to pills. Okay. And so he's bringing his drug addict addiction behavior into this 24-year-old lady's life and proceeding on to destroy her life. He shouldn't even be with her. 52 years old. 28-year age difference. That's disgusting.
how things are with them, asking him, "Where have you been all my life?" Malia eventually married him against all her friends and family's opinion.
Here's my opinion.
And you're gonna hear what he has to say. She married him. So Malia married Ron against all her friends and family's opinion. And this is what Black women do. One Black woman every 5.5 hours is murdered in the United States. They do not listen to their friends and family. Malia's friends and family advised her not to marry this 52-year-old man. So you're going to hear how sick this Fates and Gates channel is and how he's actually going to be kind of disgruntled because Malia didn't, well, she didn't listen. So basically it's like this. Okay, let me rephrase it. Fates and Gates channel, he's getting ready to like show a anger or kind of show disdain to the fact that the friends and family were trying to protect her. So he's going to approve of the marriage. Listen to this. He's going to say she's a grown woman, you know, she can do what she want to do, even though the result ended up deadly. He still is going to validate this marriage. Very sick.
Here's my opinion of what I believe happened, providing commentary and criticism, fair use. This woman, I believe, was promiscuous in practice, but she coveted that big, beautiful wedding. Okay, the younger men she dealt with didn't put that ring on her finger, so she married the 50s, but she coveted that big, beautiful wedding. Okay, the younger men she dealt with.
It's not a big, beautiful wedding. Okay. In the photos and the videos, it seemed to be a nice wedding, but what makes it not beautiful is the outcome. Nothing's beautiful about this relationship because of the way it ended. It's not beautiful. But this man, Mr. Fates and Gates, that's doing the reaction, in his mind, he still thinks this is beautiful because he believes that marriage comes from the Lord, not this marriage. This marriage that this lady Malia got in with Ron Christopher Allen, Malia Best got into this marriage with Ron Christopher Allen. This marriage is from the devil. This marriage ain't even got nothing to do with the Lord. Not this marriage. And it's because of how deadly it ended. But notice how he still calls this a beautiful marriage. You see how sick this man is? He thinks this is beautiful. And in his subconscious, what he's really saying passive aggressively is that it's beautiful that she got killed too. And she deserves it because she's a cheater. 24-year-old girl. I'm going to play it again. Listen to this.
With its narration.
She was a happy person who was trying to live and enjoy her life like most people. Malia met Ron Christopher Allen and they started dating even though they have a very big age gap. Malia was 24 and Ron is 52. Ron, a father of 3, had some running with the law. He was addicted to pills, which he was supposed to be in court.
Ron was a father of 3 and had run-ins with the law. So she didn't marry a 52-year-old mature man. He's a criminal. So she's marrying a 52-year-old criminal and a man that's popping pills. And this is what Black women will pick. Young and old. Young, old, or middle age. This is the traditional Black man that Black women will tolerate. This is the truth. And this is why the murders keep happening. She sees value in this nut. She doesn't look at him like he's a pill popper, so he's a junkie. He's old. He's 52. He's not mature. He has 3 children that he about ain't halfway taken care of. She married a loser.
Was addicted to pills, which he was supposed to be in court for but never did. Malia loved him so much. She posted how things are with them, asking him, "Where have you been all my life?" Malia eventually married him again.
And she is asking him, where has he been her whole life, like as if a prize was sent to her. And see, this is the consequence of sexual intercourse. So she believes that this old nutcase, pill popping criminal is some kind of prize that showed up. You see the sickness in this? And her sickness leads her to death. It's very sad. I wish it hadn't happened. But Fates and Gates, he thinks the wedding's beautiful. Even though the outcome was deadly, he considers this a beautiful wedding. I don't. Ain't nothing beautiful about any of this. The wedding or any of it. And it ain't beautiful because of the wedding vows. She took the traditional wedding vows. I'm quite sure she said that to death do you part. She did that traditional toxic wedding vows. It's very unlikely that her wedding vows were of her choice because he's 52. She's going to do those traditional wedding vows to death do you part. And I know she did it because she said, where has he been her whole life? A 52-year-old junkie, criminal. She thought that this was something that's a prize coming to her. And as long as Black women think this way, these murders are going to continue to happen. One every 5.5 hours. She sees value in this Negro. And so does Fates and Gates. He sees value in them too. That's why he's saying the wedding was beautiful. Fair use, y'all.
Against all her friends and family's opinion.
Here's my opinion of what I believe providing commentary and criticism fair use. This woman, I believe, was promiscuous in practice, but she coveted that big, beautiful wedding. Okay, the younger men she dealt with.
She coveted her death. Like I said, this wedding ain't beautiful, but he's too much of a weirdo and a sicko. And he thinks, like I said in the beginning, the Bible can make you an abuser. So Fates and Gates, he's an abuser. This Bible has contributed to him having abusive thoughts and having an abusive mindset when it comes to ladies. And see, he could talk about Ringo all day long, but we don't know anything about Fates and Gates' background. I've never heard him talk about his mother. We know that Ringo TV loves his mother, even though his mother was a drug addict. Okay, for a few years during his childhood. Not his entire childhood, but for about 5-6 years. Okay, his mother suffered with drug abuse and then she got off drugs. By the time Ringo TV, I think, was about 12 or 13, his mother got off of drugs. And that was very important for her to be off of drugs when Ringo TV is in his teenage years. It makes a big difference, okay? And so, and then also from the time Ringo was born till he was 6 years old, his mother also was not a drug addict. So he's not a drug baby. And it don't matter whether he a drug baby or not. I mean, his mother was not addicted when he was, it's no such thing as a drug baby. Let me take that back. His mother was not addicted to drugs when she was pregnant with him. The baby is not a drug baby. The parent is. Okay, the baby is just born from a drug addict. It doesn't make the baby a drug baby in my mind, because the baby is not doing drugs. This child is not voluntarily doing drugs. And a lot of children, their mothers and fathers were addicted to drugs, and nothing's wrong with the child. Not all children come out with a problem just because their parents were addicted. Okay, I know more wrong with people and their parent was not on drugs. So your mother could not be a drug addict and you come out totally deformed or having serious health issues. But someone can actually be a drug addict and their baby be just fine. It can literally happen like that. So the baby's not a drug baby, the parent is. I don't believe in that, you know, they say call people crack babies and stuff like that. How the baby a crack baby? The baby can't smoke crack. But they will say that because with that particular drug, crack, the baby can have withdrawals when it's born. When the baby is born, the baby can have withdrawals. So I get it. I mean, the baby's being victimized by the mother's or father's drug addiction. Okay. Sometimes some children later in life, they will suffer with heart problems, things going wrong with their organs. You know, there's other things that can go on when someone's mother especially was addicted to drugs, outside of them just having something wrong with their brain. Some children are born and they have a kidney problem. Some ladies, they smoke cigarettes when they're pregnant, and sometimes the child may have blemishes in their eyes. They may have spots on their skin. It's all kind of side effects that can come out of this type of behavior. So fair use, y'all.
Her men she dealt with wouldn't put that ring on her finger, so she married a 52-year-old man while keeping the mentality.
So Fates and Gates is saying younger men that she dealt with wouldn't put a ring on her finger. She could have got with a younger man. She just got emotionally attached to this older man, and he was able to manipulate more, because it's almost like borderline dating a child or a teenager. 24 years old and the man's 52. Pill popping or not, he has a lot of control and he has a lot of game over this girl, this young girl, because she's 24. Scientifically, some scientists say your brain is fully developed at 25. Some scientists say your brain is fully developed at 27. I believe in science. So at 24, according to science, she still ain't grown. She got another year to go. Okay? Or another 3 years. That's why people at 24 years of age and younger, they do so much silly stuff. They're not mature yet.
Year-old man while keeping the mentality that she could always divorce him at any time and or have a dude on the side. Okay, but this guy was taking the marriage much more seriously than she anticipated.
This is what he refers to this man. So Fates and Gates says that he's taking the marriage seriously. No, he's taking murder serious. He's not taking this marriage serious because he's a pill popper and a criminal. This 52-year-old man is not taking this marriage serious. The fact that he murders Malia, Ron murders Malia, does not make him serious about the marriage. It just makes him dangerous to be in a marriage. But Fates and Gates minimizes this and says the man is serious about it. He's crazy and he shouldn't be married. If he was serious about marriage, he would be more mature. He wouldn't be a criminal and a pill popper.
Taking the marriage much more seriously than she anticipated, or even than her 24-year-old self could have ever imagined. Okay, we must remember her female friends and family kept telling her not to marry him, planting the seeds of doubt, planting the seeds of divorce.
Yes, and they should be planting the seeds of doubt. Her friends and family were not wrong. Also, they know how she is too. So if they know that she's kind of like a cheater, they know that this abuser is going to hurt her. So that's what they should have been planning. Her friends and family did the right thing by trying to protect her, but she didn't listen. So in this case, it is correct what her friends and family did because they saw death coming to her. Your friends and family are telling you not to marry this person because they see death coming. They see your death coming. They're mature. They know his type. Maybe he had a background of abusing other women in the community. Maybe they knew other people that had been with this man before, and they knew his nature. Some people are just clairvoyant like that. So she had a lot of prophetic and clairvoyant friends and family around her. And they advised her. They're not wishing divorce on her. They just rather her not be married than to see her die in a marriage. They saw this coming. So she had a very good set of friends and family because they called this situation out. But Fates and Gates, he's such a wicked man. He's gaslighting his viewers by saying as if they had no right and they were trying to ruin a good marriage. This is not a good marriage. It'll be different if he was telling this story and Malia Bess had not got murdered. She got murdered. So now we know for sure that her friends and family, what they were saying and their prophecy and their clairvoyant gift, they knew that she was going to die or be seriously injured or harmed. They knew that. But Phaeton Gates, he teaches that women can't teach or preach. He preaches that stupid stuff from the Bible, saying that women can't teach or preach. So he doesn't want women to stop getting murdered. Because one of the things that ladies need to teach guys is they should not be harming them. As a lady, that's one of the things that I need to carry in my spirit, that I should not be allowing no man to beat on me, hit me, and potentially kill me. I should value myself and my family. It's not good for your family when you're being assaulted by a man. So no, yes, they did the right thing. She had a great group of friends and family, and I know they're very sad that this happened. I know they are. They must be brokenhearted because they tried to stop it. But Malia's young, 24 years old, and she's not listening. She did it anyway.
Although she's a grown woman, and she was set in her mind to do so anyway.
3 months into the marriage, they started having all kinds of...
And she's not a grown woman. A grown woman would have listened. She didn't listen. So the maturity's not there yet. She's not as grown as you think. And she ain't grown compared to this man. 24 years old, she's young enough to be this man's daughter. This ain't really no grown woman to this 52-year-old abuser that's popping pills, that's in the criminal court system, missing his court dates, that already come into the marriage with 3 kids that he probably wasn't doing right by, probably was beating up their mama. That's why the friends and family most likely said, don't marry this man. This is not going to be his first victim. He's 52. He's a long-time abuser. So, yeah, he killed his wife, but this ain't his first victim. He's too old, 52 years old. He's victimized before. Fair use, y'all.
The marriage, they started having all kinds of problems. He sensed that Malia started staying late at work. She was more involved.
3 months into the marriage, they're having problems. 3 months, y'all. He an abuser and she's cheating. This is all bad.
With work than usual. He started going to her work to inspect what she was doing. Ron finally came to the conclusion that Malia had a work husband who she was cheating with. On July 31st, Ron let Malia head to work and he followed behind, then he attacked her in her office. He then proceeded to shoot Malia 7 times. He then barricaded himself inside the office for hours. Hostage negotiation team.
So he goes into her office, shoots his wife 7 times. But see, the thing is with the marriage paperwork, it's like a slave master type deal, right? So the paperwork alone gives the wrong man the feeling that he has ownership of her. So he views her as his too much. And so it's dangerous to marry that type of man because it's almost more deadly than having a slave master. You know, some ladies survived their slave masters. They did. They actually lived to see a better day. But her new slave master is this black man. So see, that paperwork alone causes so many problems. A lot of ladies, whether they realize it or not, that paperwork is getting them assaulted and beat up because they're not marrying the Lord. They're marrying a man. So that's the problem. Please click a like, y'all.
Negotiation teams from various agencies were present on the scene, and they managed to get him to surrender after 3 hours.
Some nights I want a great meal
I'm sorry, y'all. That's the commercial.
that's half the price of takeout. Marie Callender's chicken parmigiana bowl.
3 hours.
I have said before that monogamy is rooted in polygyny because a man who has
And he's going to start talking about monogamy. I mean, Fates and Gates, he preaches against polygamy. And, you know, before I kind of viewed a few of his videos, because like I said, I found his channel due to him talking craps about Ringo TV. We're Ringo TV subscribers and fans. We are. I learned a lot more from going to Ringo TV than I could Fates and Gates because my only issue with Ringo TV is he left the church, of course, which, you know, he was being robbed blind and he gave a lot of his money to like Creflo Dollar Ministries and stuff like that. But with Ringo TV, he still hasn't gotten to the point and matured enough to understand that a lot of bad stuff in that Bible is not true. Like Ringo TV, he's left the church, but he hasn't left that Bible enough. So any black male that has not really accepted that, especially when it talks about ladies can't teach. So what Ringo TV will do, he'll do videos and he'll do like reactions and he'll show ladies ministering. But see, the thing is, it's better to be ministering than to be out there on crack. So what Ringo TV misses sometimes, in my opinion, is that those ladies that are up there ministering, some of them had a crack addiction in the past, and that is their sobriety. So it's okay to teach. That's better than being out there back on crack. And some women will teach in ministry to prevent drug addiction. So it's a very bad thing in the Bible to be saying that ladies can't teach, because it gives ladies something more constructive to do. And with Ringo TV, my thing is with him, because he's so smart, those girls he has is going to be really smart too. And 1 or 2 or 3 of them may want to teach. Ladies can teach. That's why you keep seeing them teaching. We can teach. Anyone can teach. No matter your gender. That Bible is old, y'all. And maybe it was appropriate for those times. But it's a very toxic thing to have in any book, because for one, it's false. So the problem is guys, especially black guys, will listen to it and it will cause a lot of problems because they will be very discouraging to ladies. My mom used to preach and teach, and I'd rather see my mom doing that than out there on crack. I like that she did that. Even when my mom was going through her phases of not taking care of me and my sister, I still could say my mom's a preacher lady. My mom's teaching Bible classes. I would rather have that situation than have my mama out there on some crack or dope. That's just the truth of the matter. So That's probably one of the things that my mom did to keep her away from that lifestyle. My mother never got on it in the first place. Okay. Her addiction was her man. That was her addiction, not substances. Her addictions was her relationships. Her toxic relationships was my mom's addiction. So, you know, any Black man that's still believing and validating that part of the Bible, and is it true? No, it's not true that women can't teach. That's why you see them all on TV teaching and preaching. But what needs to start happening is, ladies, when they're preaching in churches and ministering, they need to start saying, I'm up here teaching because I don't believe in that part of the Bible. I don't believe that that's correct. I believe that I can teach. I don't know the men that wrote that. And I never met those men. And the Lord told me I could teach, so I'm up here doing it. So basically, that's how that is. But Faith and Gates, he teaches the same thing, that women shouldn't teach. So in that sense, I love Ringo TV's channel.
You know, once you show them.
Oh my God, what is this, Leon? On this YouTube, I apologize, y'all. That's one of the brothers, Leon, teaching about narcissism. So it just clicked on that for some reason. So yeah, that's just how I feel. So fair use, y'all. Please click a like.
Five or however many wives, he expects all of them to be monogamous to him. In addition to that, the land has been defiled with harlotry. So men who call themselves practicing
harlotry, I guess that's like they call women harlots. Harlots are prostitutes in the Bible. And that's another thing. I did a video about that on one of my lives, the religious name calling. So the Bible is good for that. You know, instead of calling women bitches, he's going to call them harlots. This man's an abuser. Faith and Gates is an abuser. The average Black male will be an abuser. The average Black male. And I'm not talking about my sons. See, my sons are not being taught and brought up like the average Black man. So I know what Black men's issues are. So I work very hard to implement a different system that's a combination of love and consequences to make my sons better. Because they're still Black males. So the DNA is there. It's parenting style too. These men that's murdering a Black woman every 5.5 hours, many of them were not raised properly. Now, some of them will kill, and maybe they were raised properly, but most of them were not, usually. And so they had a lot of enablers around.
polygyny are choosing women who've already been
And
penetrated.
he's going to be talking about polygamy, and then he's going to mention women being penetrated. He's so disgusting. Faith and Gates, he's not an attractive man, and he's disgusting. He needs to lose some weight. Okay, he needs to lose some serious weight. I don't know what he looked like before, but from what I saw on a video of him, he's not very attractive. And because of that, he's going to hold a lot of jealousy. And my perspective is he hates women. This is a misogynist. Faith and Gates is a misogynist that's been given a Bible. And he needs to stop reading it because it's hurting his life more and disabling him from having basic logic and common sense. That's another thing the Bible can do. Because see, when you read a Bible, it's so much good in it and it's so much toxicity in it it allows for the mind to roam. Like I said, you're either going to be an abuser, not be an abuser, or you're going to be a victim. In the other categories, I said you're either going to have a good heart, have a bad heart, or be soulless. Those are the options. Reading the Bible every day is not something I'm going to do. Now, will I allow myself to read scriptures, 1 or 2 scriptures at a time? Yeah, like the book of Proverbs and stuff. But because I understand how toxic the Bible is, I'm not going to be reading that all day and night because I don't want that toxicity in my mind. It's a book that's against women too. The Bible is anti-girl. It's anti-girl. It is. It's not a book that's truly encouraging ladies. It's a book that's saying I can't teach. It's an ignorant book. Not all of it is ignorant, but some of it. But then when you get a Negro like Fates and Gates, he's not going to know and understand the way I understand. So this Bible has messed this Black man up. And it messes all of them up. Now, I have a son that's saved and baptized, but remember, my son is being raised by me. So I'm going to say, don't go do that scripture. You're going to go to jail. And also, we don't attend a church that promotes those toxic scriptures. Those stupid scriptures, our pastor ain't gonna read that stupid stuff. So see, we go to a different type of church too. It's not a traditional Black church. And we go into church more aware. See, I'm not against the church. I'm against the toxic parts of the Bible. The church is healthy. A church can be healthy if they understand that a certain percent of that Bible is unhealthy and abusive.
And penetrated by another man. And most of them already
penetrated by another man. This man's disgusting.
Have those 3 husbands that I talk about: social media, the government, and corporate America.
He says that a woman can have 3 husbands: social media, the government, and what was the other one? Let me hear it again. Social media, the government, and what else did he say?
Penetrated by another man. And most of them already have those 3 husbands that I talk about: social media, the government, and corporate America.
Social media. So social media is not a lady's husband. Social media is not a husband. The government, it's your right to get help in the United States. If you're a citizen of the United States, under the law, you're allowed help. So I guess he's talking about that part of the government. And then, what did he say? Corporate? Let me see. Hold on.
Good. In other words, the field determines whether or not polygyny works. Okay, just talking about from a practical standpoint. All right, you should already know from a biblical standpoint, it is not lawful in the eyes of God. Okay, but from a practical standpoint, you cannot put monogamy side by side with polygyny and just compare the two. Okay, no, it doesn't work like that, because even those who are serial adulterers, they show what they be like in a polygamous marriage. Okay, women are not all of a sudden going to be righteous and committed to a man because he has multiple wives. All right, it may make her curious about him, and for a period.
So basically, the 3 wives he's saying was social media or the three husbands for a woman were social media, the government, and corporate America. Okay, so he's basically devaluing the fact that ladies take care of themselves. Okay, so corporate America is where ladies and men will be employed, but he's downgrading how they making a living in corporate America. But earlier he called ladies, he said harlotry, so he's talking about harlots. So see, this is the thing with this type of guy. He doesn't want you to do better, right? So this type of man hates you because he calls women harlots, which would mean a prostitute, but he also don't want you in corporate America. If you go to work, he's calling your job your husband. That's not your husband. That's just the way you make a living. And when it comes to making a living, whether you be a lady or a man, you're equal. See, the Bible is saying that you're supposed to be taken care of by a man, but that's not true as well. No matter what your gender is, you can make a living. Okay? So you don't have to be taken care of by a man. That's a biblical perspective, but it's not a legal perspective. So no matter what your gender is, you can go out and make your money. And that's not your husband. Just because a lady has a corporate job, that's not her husband. That is how she provides for her family. So see, there's no gender thing when it comes to leadership in a home and providing. Anybody can do it that has a good brain. I'm the leader of my home, not a man. I'm the leader, and then there's my sons. But in some homes, the man's the leader. Either gender can be the leader of their household. You just have to have good sense. That's all. You got to be drug-free, have good sense, and have the best interests of your family at heart. I'm a leader. And then if I had a man, we would be a team. See, I can't marry just anybody because he's not above me. We're the same. It's just we're different genders. And those are the relationships that work. You have equal respect for one another. He's not more because he's a man, and I'm not less because I'm a lady. We're both human beings. That's it. But the Bible takes the logic out of that. See, I'm no longer brainwashed. I don't think I ever was to a great extent. I probably was never biblically brainwashed. I knew from day one, once I started learning religions, I always knew that certain things didn't make sense. And as I read through the Bible, I used to read the Bible a lot more. Once I read through it and it had all the violence in it, I just would select certain things to read. See, you got to be selective when you read scripture, right? And I'm finding that a lot of these prayers are very toxic. You cannot get up every day and talk about how bad of a person you are. Lord, I know I'm so bad. I'm one of the worst people on earth, Lord. I'm sorry. I need you, Lord, to make me a better person. I'm just bad, Lord. That's unhealthy. I'm even considering writing like my own book of prayers. But But when I see the toxicity in a prayer, I just remove it. Because I don't pray like that. I don't wake up and talk about how bad I am, because I'm not. And I think even if a person was bad, I don't think praying that prayer is going to make them better, especially with the way it's worded. So fair use, y'all, fair use.
You make her curious about him.
Yeah, so going back to what I was saying too, he says there's 3 husbands for a lady. It's social media, the government, and corporate America. So you can't win for lose with this man, because he says that the government is one of her husbands, but then he doesn't like that Ringo TV is financially providing for his wife and all his daughters. Ringo TV is not utilizing the government. So see, you can't win or lose with Faith and Gates, no matter how you provide for your family. And if you're utilizing the government to provide for your family, you can do that. It's not illegal. And just because you're getting help from the government doesn't mean you're in systematic poverty. As long as you're using the assistance to make a better life for yourself, to grow and accomplish things, it's okay. There's many people that have great savings and have great financial lives that once got government assistance. So it's your right. It's not illegal. And it doesn't make that some lady's husband. It just makes that her financial support. He wants Black women not to be provided for. Okay. He can't take care of nobody. So he doesn't want ladies taken care of. Whether it be from the government, whether it be Ringo TV providing for his wife and kids. He will say stuff like Ringo TV needs to stop doing his channel because he's doing that for the devil, or however way he words it. But Ringo TV is doing his channel for his wife and kids, and because that's his talent. Faith and Gates will judge Ringo TV's creativity. From my perspective, Faith and Gates is not as creative. He doesn't really have that gift of art and that creative gift. So he's not as handsome as Ringo TV from my perspective. So from the beauty perspective, that's lacking, and he's not taking care of his body. Faith and Gates don't look like he work out. He's not well groomed. He's just not. So he's a very, very jealous man that has a Bible, and that's dangerous. We know nothing about Faith and Gates' background. I can tell you that his background ain't all that perfect because he's showing his hatred for Black ladies. His Bible hasn't given him compassion. He's a Bible stumper, but he has zero compassion that this lady has been murdered. He don't care nothing about Malia Bess. He just as well get on the video and just say she deserves it. Somebody cheating on their spouse is not a good enough reason for them to be murdered. It's just not. It's not a good reason.
You make her curious about him, and for a period of time, she may be faithful to him. But
it's a good reason for them to be divorced. So someone cheating on you is a good reason to get a divorce. That's what it's a good reason for. But someone cheating on someone else is not a good reason to kill them. It's not.
Actually, she's going to step out of that marriage. Okay, because that's just in what she practices. Okay, they say you can't turn a 304 into a housewife.
Here you go, name calling again. You always got to call them names, whether he getting the name from the Bible. It's just constant.
Okay, and this most certainly will not stop men from executing these fatalities against their wives for infidelity. That's why I referenced the law of Moses. Okay, because the more wives that the patriarchs of old had, the more concerned they were about someone committing adultery in the
Polygamy has nothing to do with this. He keeps talking about polygamy. It don't matter because this was not a polygamous marriage. This couple, Malia and Ron, they were not involved in polygamy. So Fates and Gates connecting polygamy to this situation, it doesn't apply. This is an abuser. This 52-year-old man that was married to Malia, he's just an abuser and a drug addict because he was addicted to popping pills. So, I mean, him talking about polygamy, Fates and Gates talking about polygamy, it's not beneficial and it's not teaching men anything. It's not even congruent with the murder. It's not even relative to anything.
The more concerned they were about someone committing adultery, and the odds of a woman committing adultery was much higher, the more wives that a man had. Okay, that's why God, in his infinite wisdom, did not put more on men than they could bear. He said, okay, I understand you got 10 wives. So let's say a man has 10 wives, and among those 10, at least 2 of them will be foolish enough to commit adultery, considering that adulterers were stoned to death back in the biblical days of old. Okay, so God is saying, I don't want men to be burdened with righteous indignation, and they can't do anything about it to set order in Israel and put this evil out from among them. Okay, so let's institute the death penalty for adulterers, where it's the
God ain't did that neither. God ain't told you to have no death penalty for somebody that's committing adultery. I believe the Lord would say, get a divorce. So it's not the Lord saying kill people and put people to death because they committed adultery. That has nothing to do with the Lord. The Lord I serve is much, much more intelligent. So the Lord I serve would just say, get a divorce. Isn't that logic? Even if a person didn't even believe in the Lord or the one most high, it's just logic. Just get a divorce. Because after somebody cheats on you, you might not love them no more. You might not feel the same. You might not feel safe even being sexually active with them. So the solution for cheating is just a divorce. That's it. It's not murder. It's not stabbing somebody. It's just a divorce. And this is why so many Black men do what they do, because they got other Black males like Fates and Gates and many other Black males in the manosphere that are pretty much supporting the murders. This man, see, this is what I know about domestic violence. This 52-year-old man, Ron Christopher Allen, that killed Malia Bess. They were married, of course. He was going to kill her anyway. See, that's how wise I am to domestic violence. He was dangerous, whether she cheated on him, made his coffee wrong, burnt his toast, forgot to wash the nigga's drawers. No matter what Malia was going to do, she married a nut. That's why her friends and family was telling her, don't marry the nigga. So regardless of if she cheated or not, he was going to kill her because that's the type of thinker. She's marrying a degenerate. An abuser They just come up with an excuse to abuse you. That's all. They just come up with an excuse of why they're doing it. So his excuse was that she was cheating on him. And I don't know how she came across cheating. Was she already with this man prior to getting married? I'm talking about the guy she was cheating with. Because the guy she was cheating with, he was married as well. So what was the deal? Was she already with the other man? But for me, it doesn't matter because it's just not a good enough reason to murder. It's just not.
Okay, so let's institute the death penalty for adulterers, where it's the law of the land. Okay, and today it's no longer the law of the land. I don't see what's so hard to understand about that. Okay, these ninjas keep coming in the comments arguing with me about polygyny. Okay, they have no facts to back it up whatsoever. Okay, all right, now we're under the blood of Jesus. This is a new covenant. That means under the new covenant, it should have some.
He don't respect no Jesus. Faison Gates, he's very cruel-hearted, and he doesn't have any compassion for this murder. And in my opinion, he's more supporting it and making excuses for it than really being against it. And you will hear that as I keep playing his video.
To say about concubines and how to regulate the whole.
Here you go with these Bible names again, concubines. See? I did a video about that, the religious name calling. Remember I said, reading the Bible is either going to make you an abuser, make you not be an abuser, or make you a victim. So the Bible has made him an abuser. He's referred to harlots, 304s, concubines. Because see, he's going to his Bible to teach him how to be an abuser. Now, a man that's not an abuser, he's going to ignore that part of the Bible. What would the world have been like without this toxic book? Without the toxic stuff that's in it? If they would have created a Bible and said, we can't put this stuff in there. Imagine how much better the world could have turned out to be.
To have something to say about concubines and how to regulate the whole situation. Okay, for men who take it upon themselves to have multiple wives. No, the scriptures say a man is to have one wife. And stories like this just goes to show you just how different.
So I guess he's against the concubines. That's Faison Gates, because he's against polygamy or polygamy. He's against the concubine system and stuff. He's saying no to it. That much I do know from watching his other videos. And that's a good thing about Faison Gates. But he should be against this murder too, not just against polygamy.
This just goes to show you just how difficult it is even in a monogamous marriage. Okay, because the day is coming where marriage will no longer satisfy a holy God. That's why he's going to have to crack them skies open and rapture his bride. All right. See, no one's giving deep, in-depth teachings on these things. Okay, because when this spirit comes upon men and they're not able to handle multiple women, all right, because we're living in a fallen state, and most people overall, not just women, but men and women, are degenerates. Okay, and there's been a system put in place, the initiative to strategically arrest Black men.
And he's a degenerate too, because at the end of the day, he don't really. I watched a couple of his cases about these murders upon ladies, and I do believe this. I'm gonna say this: if you are a cheater, if a lady is a cheater, why get married? Just stay unmarried. You know, don't cause yourself problems or a man problems. I mean, if I like cheating, I'm just not gonna get married. I'm not a cheater, and I'm choosing not to get married. Don't get married. And I'm doing it for different reasons. First of all, as soon as a man even think you want to marry him, he start acting crazy as hell. That is the truth of the matter. I don't care what man I find, especially a black man, soon as he know I'm even considering marrying his ass is going to start acting fucking crazy. Just no damn sense. The average black male is not mature enough for a marriage. Fates and Gates, he can talk about marriage all day long, but I guarantee you, I don't even know if he's married or not. I think he's not married because he doesn't mention his wife. Oh, he's not married. Trust me, if Fates and Gates had a wife, he would mention his wife. But he could talk about Ringo TV all day long, but he couldn't master what Ringo TV is doing. Having that large of a channel and taking care of his wife and girls, Fates and Gates couldn't do that because he's too mentally immature too. He's not that mentally mature. And the average black man, a lot of them will not be. That's why I try to work really, really hard with my sons to try to make a difference in their life so they don't turn out to be degenerates. That is like one of my really, really spiritual goals because it starts in childhood. A lot of these black males, these things that was going on with them wasn't fixed in childhood and even in their early adulthood. I make a conscious and active decision. And see, I'm not listening to that Bible saying I can't teach. I teach my sons every day. That part of the Bible I'm not listening to because I should be teaching because I'm a parent. Who took my like away? Put my like back. Who does that? Click a like and then unclick it. Such ignorance, right? Like, I'm a mother. So yes, I'm gonna say it again. Whoever don't like it, I don't care. I am not listening to that part of the Bible where it says I cannot teach because I am the leader of my home and I have 3 sons that I need to actively, no matter how old they are, talk to them and teach them a better way. Because what did Malcolm X say? The mother is the first teacher of the child. That's the truth. Go off Malcolm X teachings. Malcolm X went outside of the Quran and Bible. The mother is the most important because that is the first teacher of the child. And so somebody unliked what I just said because I said I don't believe in the Bible when it say don't teach. A mother teaches. What a silly person. So I got some idiot here that don't believe, that's on my channel listening to me teach, believing some old silly crap in the Bible that says ladies can't teach. What an ignorant ass fool. Because they click my like off as soon as I said the truth. That part of the Bible ain't true. It's borderline disability minded to think that that's true. Don't you see ladies ministering and teaching everywhere? Women been teaching since the beginning of time. And many of them will do it better than men. They sure will. I've learned some of the most beautiful life lessons from ladies. And I've learned some of the most beautiful life lessons from men too. But the Bible isn't saying that men can't teach. The Bible is biased. It's saying that men can teach, but ladies can't. It's a lie. And it's messed black males up because they believe those stupid lies in that freaking Bible. Because they believe that that stupidity comes from the Lord. It ain't true. That's why you see so many ladies teaching. And the mistake is when ladies are teaching in churches, they need to say, that Bible's very old and I don't believe that that's true. All you got to do is stop co-signing the wrong in the Bible. Uplift the good, but stop co-signing those lies. It's not logical. The Lord made ladies have children, right? Why would the Lord allow a whole child to come out of your body to someone that's not naturally a teacher? Some ladies should not teach. Some men should not teach because they don't have the wisdom or knowledge to teach. Your gender is not what makes you a teacher. It's your ability and the knowledge and your willingness to learn from others too. Please click a like, y'all. So fair use. One of y'all make up for my like that somebody took away.
The initiative to strategically arrest black men and put them in prison for a period of time for the sake of filthy lucre. You understand? But let's continue.
Working a very active.
Peyton Gates is talking about the prisons, but black men, they keep these systems populated. I mean, black men, at the rate that they kill one black woman every 5.5 hours, and black men are killing other races too, not just black women, but they're at a higher statistic of killing black women. So they're creating the need for prisons. So yes, prisons will continue to make money off black men because they're creating a need, but also prisons put our country in debt as well. It's very expensive to build, employ people, and populate prisons. It's very, very costly, to say the least.
But let's continue.
Working a very active scene here, a very fluid scene, and again, a very dangerous scene here in West Jackson.
And remember, I will be putting this video in the description box as well. So thank y'all for watching.
We were able to get the suspect to surrender to law enforcement without any other loss of life or injury. He has been transported to police headquarters for interview purposes. I'm very disturbed, very disheartened, because it's another situation that could have been avoided in our community. This was a domestic related situation. This was his wife, my understanding. She worked here at this location, and he came to this location and took her life. She's deceased at this time, and I really wish that we could have done more to prevent this, but we have people that don't know how to deal with emotions, who do not know how to deal with somebody wanting to move on with their life. And he decided to come here and take her life.
Listen, God judges the man who cannot control his emotions. That's why this guy is spending life in prison. Okay, but he's still breathing. He can be forgiven so long as he's...
That's a very ignorant thing. He just said, he's getting ready to say that the guy can be forgiven for murder. And I'll do a separate video about that. That's not true either, y'all. Serial killers, Ted Bundy ain't going to no heaven. There's certain circumstances where Some murderers have the ability to enter a heaven, but those will be truly self-defense situations. That's pretty much it. Or murders that happen when people are very young, teenagers. And with those particular murderers, the Lord would have to show that they were raised wrong and they lacked a parent in their life. Murderers are not going to heaven. And you silly to believe that you can do whatever you want. Murders, that's unforgivable. Like what serial killers do and the mass numbers of people they kill. See, people don't use logic when they're reading the Bible. The commandment says thou shalt not kill. The average murderer will not make it into the gates of heaven. Just like the average rich man is not going to make it into the gates of heaven. Some sins are not forgivable. You can believe that they are. But the sin of murder, when you go kill somebody and it's not in self-defense, and the murderers that will be forgiven, it's just like believing that everybody that commits suicide is going to hell. It's the same type of stuff. It's the belief that every homosexual is going to hell. All homosexuals will not go to hell. The average homosexual, they're going to enter hell because of the other stuff they do. But the Bible makes you believe that your sexuality gets you in hell. What's going to get you in hell is the type of heart you got. You got to start using logic. I'm not trying to turn you against the Bible. I'm just trying to give you some logic. I've been watching crime cases for decades and decades. And I promise you, they're not going to no heaven. The average murderer will be incapable of going to God and asking for forgiveness. So that's why they're not going to heaven too. It's not forgivable in the way that you think. That's why some people are smart enough when they talk about their relative or friend or child being murdered, they will say what they did is unforgivable. And it is. That's why I never killed nobody. And I'm talking about like purposely plan and go kill somebody. I never killed nobody. And planned that and plotted that. Because I don't believe I'm going to heaven. I need to have a very just cause to take somebody's life. Somebody got to break in my house. And I got to really feel like this person going to kill me and my family. Those are the circumstances where you can enter a heaven and have killed somebody. The Bible's teachings that you can just do what you do and some Jesus or God is going to forgive you for it, it's not true. Especially with situations like murder. We're talking about a murder. And who definitely is not going to forgive you truly for murder is people. If you murder somebody's relative, they're going to never forget that. They adjust themselves to deal with it, but they ain't forgave you in the way that you think. I don't even believe that people forgive truly. I believe that in rare cases, people forgive, But I believe that forgiveness is a trait of the Lord. A sister asked me one time, she said, "Have you forgiven him?" I said, "I don't need to. I'm not his God. Why do I need to forgive somebody? I'm not his God. Whatever he did to me, he needs to go to the Lord about. Why do I want to be taking the Lord's job? I don't take the Lord's job. The Lord is too powerful. He needs to forgive my enemy. It's no way I could forgive my enemy the way the Lord does. Forgiveness is a God-like trait that the Creator has. It's a very unique trait. Some people can master it, but it's rare. Most people that say they are forgiving, that's not what they're truly doing. What they're really doing is accepting that it's happened, but they really are not forgiving in the way that you think, because people don't forget what that person did to them. If somebody unalived one of my family members, I would never forget that. So in order for me to truly forgive it, I have to be able to forget it. And I'm not going to forget something like that. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. But if you kind of get out the brainwashing that the Bible has taught and start using pure logic, watch Ted Bundy case and how he was looking and acting within 24 hours of him being put to death. And this is why Ted Bundy wouldn't make it into heaven. Ted Bundy, when he murdered women and ladies, he actually blacked out. Half of the murders that Ted Bundy did, he doesn't remember them. But this is why he's still going to hell. After he did the first 2 or 3 murders, he was aware that he was going to black out. So see, okay, the first murder, he blacks out. He don't even remember what he did. Ted Bundy was possessed, y'all. What he's describing is a whole possession upon him. He's describing the devil and how he can possess a human body. So the first 1 or 2 murders that Ted Bundy does, he realizes when he comes out the blackout that he slaughtered these women and murdered these women. But once he realizes he does that, he's accountable. And he has to say, I'm not going to bring no more ladies to my house, and I'm not going to their house. So after the first 1 or 2 murders, he's aware of what he's doing. Ted Bundy will not enter heaven. You can't just be a serial killer and just ask for this forgiveness from the Creator and think you're going to heaven. It doesn't make sense. It's a commandment that you shouldn't kill. It doesn't make sense. There will be some circumstances where murderers will go and have a eligibility for heaven. But 90% of murderers will not enter heaven. They just won't. So I suggest, if you want to better your life, start using logic. And it's going to be difficult for some people to do it because you've been, you've had the Bible implanted in your brain for so long that you may be kind of confused. There's some cognitive dissonance there, but you can't do whatever you want and just ask the Lord for forgiveness, especially when you repeatedly do it. True forgiveness is to stop doing something too. If you're really wanting true forgiveness, you got to stop doing what you're doing. If you want forgiveness for drug abuse, alcohol abuse, you got to stop being somebody that's addicted to that. And see, the Bible, in some sense, encourages murder because the average murderer knows. The average murderer knows about the Bible now, and they know that they can just go get forgiveness. So if a murderer knows and has been taught about the Bible, he doesn't think twice about killing because his God's going to forgive him. 99.9% of murderers in prison believe in God, and they still did it. Their belief in God was not enough. People that will enter heaven for murders will be teenagers. They was 19 and under. A few of them 25 and under. They did one murder. They do their prison time, and they spend the rest of their life dedicating their life to the Lord. Those will be the rare cases that murderers will enter heaven, but 90% of them will not. Murderers are in the same category as rich men. Most of them will not enter heaven. Don't kill anybody. The average murderer, especially someone that wasn't a teenager, 19 and under, they're scared to death to die. Because the average murderer know that they ain't going to no heaven. They don't even believe that crap. Other people will believe it because the Bible says there's this magical forgiveness. So other people will believe it. But you ask a murderer if they go into heaven. A murderer that was 25 or over, 22 and up, 40 years old. Ask a murderer if they think they're going to heaven. And they're going to tell you they're not. And tell them, say, well, the Bible say you can ask for forgiveness. We believe it. And, people have been brainwashed to think you can just do anything and you're going to make it into heaven with this magical forgiveness. It's not logical. And it won't apply to everybody's situation. It's just like the thinking that everybody that commits suicide is going to go to hell. Every homosexual is going to hell. If somebody blacks out and commits suicide and don't even remember what they did, that's a rare circumstance. Now, if I commit suicide, it's different because I know better. But if someone does it and they totally blacked out, they had an allergic reaction to something that made them jump off the bridge. They had a chemical reaction to something they ate and committed suicide. You think that person is going to hell? Come on now, that's a medical situation. So all of these thoughts that the Bible institutionalizes, it's not logical. I gave you the rare cases that murderers will be accepted into heaven. And it will be murderers. They were teenagers, self-defense cases, and they dedicate the whole rest of their life to the Lord. See, when you done killed somebody, you owe the Lord your whole life, not part of it. You give the Lord your whole life. And it starts when the murderer is in prison. You give your life to the Lord in the prison. You truly be sorry about what you did. And for the rest of your life to the day you die, you submit wholeheartedly to the Lord. So those will be the rare cases that a murderer will be accepted into heaven. But murderers that, like Kalinsky, Richard Kalinsky, the murderer that was killing for the mob, serial killers, no, they're not. Especially a murderer that took payment for it. Like Richard Kalinsky, he got paid to kill. Automatic hell. He was raised sort of like a Catholic. It's nothing he can say. He going to hell. Because for one, Richard Kalinsky is a sociopath. And he has the inability to truly feel, well, he felt bad about one murder. He did feel bad about that one. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what Richard Kalinsky did. He was a professional. I take that professional word off. He was a hitman for the mob. Ain't shit professional about killing people. I'm so tired of these labels they put on these fools. He was clever. He was smart. He was professional. He ain't professional. If he's a professional, he don't kill people. That's a professional. So I had to catch myself there. But Richard Kalinsky, one of his murders that he got paid to do, and he was killing people because they owed the mob money. He was the hitman for the mob. He killed hundreds of men. So I have a playlist, Richard Kalinsky playlist. It's right in my playlist. I have one. So, and I have a bunch of videos about him up under there. He felt bad about one because the man he was getting ready to kill wanted to pray. So the man got on his knees or whatever and prayed. And he's basically praying not to be murdered. But Kalinsky is like, see, your prayer didn't work. Something to that effect. He let the man know that his prayer wasn't about shit. But what the man didn't understand, see, you got to act quick, right? So he could have fought for his life or like jumped towards Richard Kalinsky. Like tell him you praying, but come up out of that prayer fighting. The man didn't understand to do that because he gave him kind of like a little time to fight back too. Me, I would have been like, yeah, I'm getting ready to pray. Yeah, I'm going to pray. And me and Kalinsky, big ass, would have been fighting over that motherfucking gun. But the man died humbly. But Richard Kalinsky said that he felt bad about that one. He didn't say he felt bad. This is what he said. He told the interviewer he shouldn't have did that one. That's what he said. He never said he felt bad. I take that back. He just said he shouldn't have did that one, which indicates to me that he regrets that killing. But he didn't regret the other ones. That's only one man he regret killing. And that was the praying man. And right there, when he killed that praying man, Richard Kalinsky should have known that he was going to go to the penitentiary. See, if I was a hitman for the mob and I do that to a praying man, I already know my day coming. I know my day coming. I would know that about myself. And Richard Kalinsky might have subconsciously knew that as well, or consciously knew it. And he was abusing his wife as well. Richard Kalinsky, the hitman for the mob, he abused his wife. He killed hundreds of men. And only said he shouldn't have did that one. The whole hour interview, he only said he shouldn't have killed that praying man. Richard Kalinsky will not enter heaven. It's a done deal. He killed too many people. Come on now, you got to use common sense. Please use common sense. Don't think that you can run around on the earth and live as a menace and kill hundreds of people when you enter in heaven. It's not logical to believe that. He's telling you in so many words he ain't entering heaven. That's why he's saying he shouldn't have did that one murder. That motherfucker didn't say he shouldn't have did all them other ones. I'm watching this video like, fucker, you shouldn't have killed none of these men. And he killed them for money. So Richard Kalinsky, because he killed them for money, he will have even a less eligibility for heaven than Ted Bundy does. Ted Bundy blacked out when he did these murders. But Richard Kalinsky was not blacked out. He was drinking now. He had some little liquor in him sometimes, but he wasn't blacking out. He was consciously, cold-bloodedly murdering people and murdered a praying man. Can you imagine a man on his knees praying to the Lord and you kill him and then make fun of the man? Richard Kalinsky is like, yeah, go ahead and pray. Let's see if your God stops this. That's how he's talking to this praying man. Now, he did say he shouldn't have did that. During that interview, Richard Kalinsky says, I shouldn't have did that one. And that's because he was, raised Catholic. So, but there's no heaven waiting on him. So that's, that's a bunch of hocus pocus stuff to believe that you can do whatever you want and you go into heaven. God forgives for everything. And the way to understand that's not true, you got to study different religions. Study Zen Buddhism and see what it says. It teaches that hell is not permanent. You're designated to these places for a certain time. You kill somebody, you go to Buddha hell for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, however many years in the universe. And then once your time is up, you can go to what they call whatever they Buddha heaven is. You got to really evaluate if a loving God even puts you in hell forever. But it's there for people like Richard Kalinsky and Ted Bundy. And you got gang member serial killers. It's for those people. So, and I brought that lesson came up because Fates and Gates makes it seem like that this guy is eligible for heaven after he's killed his wife. Because Fates and Gates is stuck on believing the misunderstanding and some of the nonsense that he's reading in the Bible. Just keeping and staying with the beliefs in the Bible will keep you very ignorant. That's why you want to study more. You want to use your logic. You got to use logic too, not just what the Bible say. The 10 Commandments is a good thing. Read the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Try your best to do those 10 Commandments and obey the 10 Commandments, and I believe you will be eligible for heaven.
He can be forgiven so long as he sincerely repents to God. Okay, but the woman, this is not the case because
you can't. And see, Fates and Gates, like he said, this man. So he's doing a video about this lady's murder, which is Malia Bess. But while he's doing a video about this lady's murder, there's no real compassion for her life. He has more compassion for the murderer. And that's because the Bible is making him have a bad heart and making him more soulless. So it's very inappropriate considering what Ron Christopher Allen did, murdering his wife. He was already too old to be with her anyway, but Faith and Gates believes the nonsense that this guy is eligible for some kind of heaven. It's not logical to think that. Just because of what you think you read in the Bible, you got to use logic. He's killed this lady. And he knew he was that way before he married her. He victimized this lady. That's why he married her. And she's only 24 years old. He wants a victim. He manipulated and got her to do it and killed her. And she didn't listen to her friends and family members that told her not to do it. But Faith and Gates believes that it's a heaven waiting on this nigga. I'm so glad I got a brain and I'm intelligent. Ain't no heaven waiting on this nigga. It's not. And I don't even like using the N-word, but it's insane to really believe some of this stuff. I never murdered nobody because I don't believe I'm going to no damn heaven unless it's truly self-defense. Somebody attack me. Look at it this way. It's just like in a court of law, in criminal court. Some cases are dismissed at an arraignment hearing. Some cases are not. Some people go to prison, some do not. It's the same criteria with heaven and hell. But most murderers will not enter heaven. They have the inability to seek a God. They think they God. That's why they killing people like that. A murderer thinks they are the Lord. They think they have the right to take somebody's life. So what heaven they going to? Ain't that like blasphemy? He think he God? Seriously. But Faith and Gates is promoting black males murdering. This is why black males can't stop doing it. They can't stop killing a black woman every 5.5 hours because you got Negroes like Faith and Gates that's encouraging it. These type of men hate black women. He's read most of his Bible and it still ain't bettered his life.
Because she's deceased, meaning her judgment is set. Because she died in her sin, her fate is sealed. All right, on this channel, I focus on the after.
And he believes that the murder victim automatically is going to enter a hell because she was cheating. See how irrational this is? He believes that the Lord is not going to have any compassion for the murder victim. But he believes that the murderer has a chance to go to heaven. That's crazy to believe that. I believe that the murder victim has more of a chance than the murderer does. I don't care what condition she died in. She has still a chance because it's still up to the Lord. But Faith and Gates, he's pro-predator. He thinks that this killer that's old enough to be her daddy has a chance to go to heaven. Because this is the way he takes the Bible. Because he's limited himself just to the Bible. He hasn't studied Buddhism. So I study Zen Buddhism. So I know that the victim has more of a chance of going to a better place. And some studies say that when somebody's killed, whether it be on accident or they're shot, they fall off of something, they're hit by a vehicle. Accident victims, I've studied on accident victims, right? They have a lot of energy on them and they have more years. It's like they get a longer afterlife is what some of these videos will talk about. murder victims have more of an afterlife than somebody that dies from natural causes and an old age. So from what I studied on, the studies say, and I watched numerous videos about this, it talked about when you die when you're old, just natural causes, there's less energy on you because you've lived your life. But if you die of an accident, you get like an extra 1,000 years in the universe or something. These are videos I watched. I studied on what happens to people when they're killed. In the first video I pulled up, it talks about getting hit by a vehicle, getting shot, and falls. The traditional accidents, vehicles, falls, and getting shot. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. It was so interesting to learn. You got to learn about different aspects of death because the Bible will not tell you everything about it, right? So fair use, y'all. Let me see. I got a comment here. Hello, Afenshaw. How are you doing? Welcome back. Thank you for the comment in the chat. I'm doing a reaction here. Please click a like since you're here. I'm talking about a lot of logic so we can understand logic versus just reading religious materials and believing everything, okay?
Her fate is sealed. All right. On this channel, I focus on the afterlife. All right. The fates and gates of all matters. Because upon studying these scriptures.
And I'm talking about the afterlife too. So it's not logical. This man, this demonic man, fates and gates. Thank you so much for the like. He actually believes that the murderer has a chance in the afterlife, but believes that the victim that he killed, her fate is just sealed. She's just going to hell for sure. Does that sound normal? But the murderer has a chance. And I talked about my theory and my belief. Most murderers will not enter heaven. They won't. The Bible can explain this imaginary theory that they are. And I explain the cases from my perspective on what murderers will be welcome into heaven. I gave you an example. They're teenagers, 20, 19 and under, especially 19 and under. They do their prison time. And they, if they're allowed to exit a prison, they dedicate their entire rest of their life to the Lord. Then they die. Then they're eligible for heaven. But keep in mind, that teenager in those cases will have just killed one person. And they're really eligible for heaven if there's some neglectful parenting. Like they were out there, their parent wasn't really doing right by them, watching them enough. 19-year-olds still need to be watched, y'all. That's just a big, dangerous kid. You got to almost watch a 19, 18, 17-year-old. You got to watch teenagers sometimes more than you do your 5-year-old. See, because a 5-year-old generally is not going to kill anybody. They don't even know to do that. It's them big kids. They just a big kid. Look in the eyes. Look at those arrests, mugshots, and look in the eyes of a 19, 18, 17-year-old killer. See, I'm prophetic and clairvoyant. You see a child, your eyes show what you are. A 19-year-old is nothing but a freaking big ass kid, 19 and under. Remember, scientifically, your brain is not developed till you're 25. Some scientists say 27 years old. Go off science. The only reason they say that people are grown in America when they're 18 is so they can start putting them in the penal system and incriminating them, criminalizing them, putting them in prisons and jails. Yeah, Affenshaw, yes. Scientifically, the MRI brain scans and x-rays and all of those, all of that evidence shows that the brain is not developed until you're 25 years old. Some scientists say 27. Let's go with 25. I'll go with 25. And this is universally. This doesn't, they're not saying, well, your brain is developed at 25 scientifically. Yeah, those are kids. That's why most people don't even start doing right till they're in their late 20s. Really think about it. Most people do not even start getting their life together and really making real adult decisions until they're in their late 20s. I agree with science. The brain is, whenever the brain is developed, fully developed, that's when you're an adult. So I'm bringing this up to say this. If there's any forgiveness for murders, it will be in those situations. Ain't no serial killer going to no heaven. Don't believe that. I don't care what materials you read. Some stuff is borderline yeah, self-defense, Affenshaw, exactly. I brought that option up too. I brought that up. Self-defense. I'm doing this video and he or she come in on me. And I feel like they're going to kill me and my family here tonight. That's self-defense. Then I'm eligible for heaven. The Lord might allow me into heaven just because I protected my family. Like, good job, Irene, you protected your family. But this predator on this video, Fates and Gates, he believes, and the man just killed his wife. This 52-year-old man killed his 24-year-old wife. Yeah, I agree with that. Affenshaw, what? It's a lot of people that it was self-defense and they still went to prison, especially in America. In America, especially for people that allow themselves to stay in domestic violence relationships. Like I watched a lot of domestic violence videos, especially like women back in the 60s and 70s, 1960s and 70s. Those women, black or white, when they killed their abuser, they still went to prison. So it's best not to be with abusers. It's just best not to be. And Affenshaw, 25, 26, 27, that ain't really that old. Not really. But I know what you're saying. You're saying that now, since you know what science says, you're kind of amazed because we're taught that you're some kind of adult way sooner. And you're not. We're not adults. I believe in science. I believe they got the evidence to show. They do the brain scans, y'all. They know what a developed brain looks like. Yeah, I agree, Afenshaw. Yeah, live their whole life in fear, being with an abuser. Ain't that sad? It's really sad. So fair use, y'all. Let me finish playing this video. Please click another like. My voice feels so much better, y'all. When I first started this video, I had just had an asthma attack like about 30 minutes before starting. So this is the thing with asthma. This is one of the techniques I use, y'all. So to recover as soon as possible from the voice problem that is going to come from an asthma attack, this is what I do. I speak. So speaking and doing these videos helps asthma. You got to work them lungs out. Your lungs have to be worked out, and you do it through speaking. But some people, right when they have an asthma attack, I have asthma. So it's the way your lungs are, Afenshaw. So I've had asthma since I've been a little girl. I was diagnosed as a child for asthma, even when my grandmother wouldn't believe it. She didn't want to believe the doctor. And I was also diagnosed as an adult with asthma. So I've had asthma since I was in St. Louis, Missouri as a little girl. My asthma has actually improved, and living on the West Coast has saved my life as well. I believe with my asthma that I would have been sicker in St. Louis, Missouri, because the need for air conditioners, the extreme hot weather, and the extreme colds. Yeah, thank you so much, Afenshaw, for being concerned about me. I'm so glad that you made it here today. I'm really happy that you made it here. Thank you for coming back. So I never forgot about you, okay? So fair use, listen to this video. Click a like, please, if y'all are in here. I feel so good because my voice cleared out. You could totally, if you go back to the beginning of this video, I sound like I'm struggling voice-wise. Even if you couldn't hear it, I could feel it. I feel like I'm struggling, but now my airway is just cleared out. And this cappuccino helped. But I caused myself the asthma attack. I know that my asthma was acting up. Why did I have to go get a big old large coffee and eat some ice cream? Oh, you're welcome, Afenshaw. No problem. And thank you for being here and for coming back. Please share the video as well.
To life, all right, the fates and gates of all matters. Because upon studying these scriptures, it's breaking news to me.
See, Fates and Gates' problem on his channel is he's basing it just on the Bible. No logic is being used. His perspective of if somebody enters heaven and hell is only based on a very old book. Isn't that scary? That a grown man is just basing his beliefs on entering heaven or hell just based on the Bible, not using any of his common sense and logic. That's scary to me. That really is. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, thank you, Afenshaw. It's very scary. So basically, you can give Fates and Gates. Okay, if you would have gave them a Bible that said, murder all the animals tonight. Go kill every animal in the world. And you told him that God said it, The Lord said, go kill every animal in the world and person. Faith and Gates would have believed it just because somebody told him God said it. So there's no logic being used when he reads his Bible. I mean, he's got a channel out of reading the Bible. Please click a like, y'all. I mean, he has his channel because he's into his Bible. But how does his brain work? How can you really not utilize your brain and just base it on a Bible? He must have been he didn't have any teachers in his life. Like and when I say teachers, it sounds like he never talks about his background. But I can tell enough that he hates women. Thank you so much for clicking the like button, Afenshaw. For other people that are here, please click the like button as well. So, fair use, y'all.
To me every day that there is something called the lake of fire. And most people are going there. Okay. I've asked questions as to why God allows so much evil in the world. There's nothing wrong with asking questions of God so long as you read the scriptures to find the answers and ask him to reveal himself to you. Okay, the scripture says, taste and see that the Lord is good. He's such a merciful God, and we don't deserve his goodness. All right. The Most High is very long suffering with us. The scriptures say the sun rises and sets on the just and the unjust. If we had access to the same information as God, meaning pertaining to why people like this woman got so young, and there are far worse people in the world.
So why he says God is a merciful God, right? God is a merciful God. So if God is such a merciful God, why doesn't the victim have eligibility for heaven? Since he says God is merciful, why would God, the one most high in heaven, just be merciful towards the predator and the killer? Why doesn't this ignorant ass nigga that I'm playing on this video understand that God, if he's a merciful God, he's merciful towards the freaking victim? You see how retarded this shit is here? This nigga is evil. And I don't even like using the nigga word. But Fates and Gates, this dude is, how I know he ain't killed somebody? I might be listening to a murderer. Maybe this nigga just got out the penitentiary. I don't know, because he doesn't discuss his background. What I do know is Ringo TV that he hates so much. Ringo TV has never even been arrested or went to jail. Ringo TV has never been arrested, jailed, or imprisoned. I've never been to prison as well. But Fates and Gates, you don't know nothing about this man's background. Be very careful of that, y'all. When YouTubers and content creators are very judgmental and they don't tell you nothing about themselves. Nothing. I always tell y'all stuff about myself. That way you can get an idea of what my flaws and my strengths are. And you will know that I'm eligible to teach you and to give advice and suggestions. If you don't know shit about me, don't take my advice. That's one of the things I don't like about traditional therapy. I don't like and feel comfortable with traditional therapy because I don't know shit about the motherfucking therapist. Somebody giving me advice in an office or through a Zoom, and I don't know what the fuck their background is. I don't know if my motherfucking therapist shoots up heroin when he or she leaves. I've interacted with good therapists. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I'm more prone to like more of the life coach situations because Like Tony Gaskins, he does a lot of life coaching. You know that he's married. You know he has 2 kids. You know that Tony Gaskins is originally from Chicago. You know that back in the day, he slept with a lot of women. You know he loved his grandmother and his mother. You know things about his life. But Fates and Gates, I have not watched one video of his where he discusses anything about his background. And I have a bad vibe about that. Because whenever he's talking about Ringo TV, I'm like, shit, at least you know what Ringo TV about. You know he not a killer. You know he about his wife and his kids and his daughters. You don't know shit about Fates and Gates. What I do know is Fates and Gates, he's contributing to the problem in the Black community by encouraging more murders. This is what Black men in the United States do. They overtly, in a subtle way, in a passive aggressive way, the manosphere, you know, the manosphere, men that think like this, you know, the federal government has considered them terrorists now. So that term, the manosphere, that's what Fates and Gates needs to join. He's more like the manosphere. And they hold a lot of hatred and dislike and disdain for women. And what? Let me see. So that means 4 to 5 ladies a day. Within a 24-hour period, there's 4 to 5 Black ladies that are murdered in the United States. That's a lot of deaths. It's unbelievable and unacceptable. Fates and Gates called her wedding beautiful. I don't see her wedding as beautiful. I watched some of the wedding on the video and it looks scary to me. Her wedding ain't beautiful because she ended up getting murdered. It's nothing beautiful about her wedding. But Fates and Gates says it's beautiful. It's nothing beautiful about, no, they called him Afenshaw. So the Fates and Gates, let me clarify this. Fates and Gates is a YouTuber. And let me read this. So Fates and Gates is a YouTuber, and he's discussing a case regarding Malia Bess and Ron Christopher Allen. They're a married couple. The wife was 24 years old, which is Malia, and Ron is 52 years old. So Fates and Gates was just doing a video about the murder, but he's pro-predator. See, somebody cheating on you is not a good reason to kill him. See, How to Spell Mark, YouTuber says, came through to support the stream with a like and good energy. I'm live at the moment too, and I recognize the discipline it takes to keep showing up. Oh, thank you so much. How to Spell Mark. I'm so grateful for you for leaving that, and I'm wishing you the best on your live too. Out. Let me see. I'm gonna yeah, thank you for saying hi to Mark Affenshaw. I love the energy. And feel comfortable doing that. You know, I love the positive interaction that y'all got going too. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate both of y'all so much. Very, very kind gentlemen. So, Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Shaw. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna finish, and thank you so much for the like. This going on with this live cleared my lungs out, y'all. That's why them inhalers, you got to keep one around in case of an emergency. But I use so many methods that's more natural than just, pumping inhalers for asthma. Use your voice. You can clear out your lungs that way. Walking helps. And so, I just feel so cleared out right now. So fair use, y'all.
Woman died so young, and there are far worse people in the world who are still breathing today. I'm sure it has to do with the curse that is upon the woman dating back to the fall of Eve.
There's no curse upon women, okay? I'm so tired of that part too. The curse is upon the murderers. The murderer has the curse. So whomever's doing the killing, that's who the curse is upon. The lady is not getting killed because of no curse. She's getting killed because she did not listen to her friends and family that told her not to marry this man. A lady is not getting killed because there's a curse on her. There's no curse on me from Adam and Eve. I don't believe it. Now, the lady could be kind of like placing her own curse on her because she's not listening to the people that were gifted. The people that are telling her family and friends that was telling her not to marry this man. Oh, thank you so much, Shaw, for saying I'm a very good streamer. And you're a very good listener, and you always contribute and add knowledge here too. So thank you so much. I just kind of like using my mind. That's why I named this channel Advanced Insight Channel. I wouldn't have it named that if I am so easily manipulated. So she's placing her own curse on her life when her family and friends tell her not to marry that man. So that's what Malia did. She placed her own curse on her life. She's not getting killed because something happened to Eve back in the Bible. That's not why she got killed. She got killed for not listening. Basically, her family and friends are like prophets and prophetess. And they're clairvoyants. They could basically predict things. And it also wasn't meant for her to be killed. Let me explain something else to you. When the Bible says it was already prophesied which day you're going to die, that's not true as well. Why would that be true in all cases when you're allowed to have a life and choices? So the truth of the matter is you will have many death dates, but only one of them will you die for sure. So yesterday I could have had 4 death dates. When I tripped on my flip-flops, when I was sleeping the wrong way, could have fell in the restroom. I'm just giving some kind of random examples, right? So I could have went outside at the wrong time. So you're granted death dates. You will have many death dates that because of your choices, you were freed from those death dates. Because of your choices, you contribute to your death date. Now, there are some cases where it was just kind of meant to be, and that would be like when children are sick, right? So if you have a child and your child gets cancer and dies at 5 years old, that's more of a case it was kind of meant to be, right? But if you're allowed to grow up and become an adult, when the Bible says, when people think that the Bible is saying the Lord knew what day you gonna be born and what day you gonna die, it applies to when you're born, but not death. Because the Lord gives you some choices in how you gonna die too. You can go to the Lord and ask him to bless you with a peaceful death. The Lord will give you whatever you want. I did a prayer and I asked the Lord and I requested from the Lord that I not die in certain ways. And when those things almost happened to me, I didn't die that way. I asked the Lord, I said, I don't want to die in certain ways. I won't name them here. But when those things could have caused my death, I was protected. I want to die in my sleep. That's my preferred death. That's my preference. Now, if I die that way, the Lord bless me with that. I've had many death dates. Since the moment I've been born, I've had numerous death dates. And due to my own actions, and sometimes the actions of other people, I didn't die sooner. It would be no sense for you to work for your life and for you to live a life with choices if you just was going to die no matter what on a certain day. That's not logical to think that. You have many death dates, but you only going to die on one of those dates. I done had thousands of death dates. You know how many people done told me they going to kill me? I'm still waiting to be killed. It ain't happened yet, right? Because I have to contribute to that death date. If somebody tell me they're going to kill me, and I say, here's my address. This is where I live. Then I make that death date happen, right? So if somebody say they're going to kill me, I don't fuck with their ass no more. I get the fuck off their radar. You choose partially how you're going to die based on how you live. If I wake up and I decide I want to be a bad person, I want to get on some drugs, if I decide tomorrow I'm going to become a drug addict and I decide that shit, then I'm going to make my death date sooner. I know people that have died before they was 40 years old, and I know that that wasn't meant to be. But they made a choice that made them have an early death date. Sometimes you die because you're not even supposed to be at the location that you're at. I told y'all, when I was in St. Louis, Missouri, and my auntie took me to her apartment building on Whittier, I was just saying this on another live. Soon as I walked through those doors on Whittier, the Lord said, "You going to the penitentiary, Irene." I left that state. My auntie said, "Well, you could move in here for free, Irene." I said, "No, thank you though. I'm not moving in here." Because see, I know ain't shit free. It was a nice apartment building. My auntie, she had remodeled it. She had did a lot of work in there. It was beautiful. But the Lord did not mean for me to be on Whittier. The angel said, if you move here, you're going to the penitentiary. And I knew why the Spirit was telling me that. See, I had not lived. I knew that if I would have moved in that studio apartment that my auntie owned on Whittier, I was going to enter into a poverty that I had never been in. I was going to enter into poverty. Systematic poverty is what I would have been entering into. I'm not in systematic poverty right now. I fight against that, and I wasn't raised in poverty. And so I understand how not to be in systematic poverty, but I never went to prison. Because what that was, when my auntie asked me to move on Whittier, she was being kind. She wanted to give me and my daughter an apartment. She was being very kind, but that was a death date for me. But I got up out of there. I didn't move in that apartment building, and I got out of town. I'm still in the state right now that I went out of town to on the West Coast in the United States of America. So see, if I wouldn't have left, there was a death date for me. I missed that death date. I'm telling you, your choices will have a lot to do with the day you die. It's not true that everybody just has one certain day to die. Now, I'm only going to die on one day, but a lot of them death dates I could miss. I missed a lot of death dates. And I know people that died earlier than they should. And I know that that wasn't their time. That wasn't really their time. They created that. The Lord gives you so many choices that you're not just limited to always just one option. So let me check the comments here. Oh, hello to Chica Chuck from Nigeria. Welcome. And then Afin Shah, in Islam, drowning or dying. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me read Chica Chuck's comment first, because that was the first comment on this last comment. So thank you for coming in from Nigeria. So please pray for Nigerian Christians. We are facing a serious genocide here in Nigeria. I'm sorry to hear about that. So let's pray for the Nigerian. And I'm not just going to pray for the Nigerian Christians. I'm going to pray for all Nigerians. I don't just pray for Christians. I pray for everybody. So, to the one most high, dear God in heaven, I'm reaching out to you today to please salvage the lives and please make a way for all Nigerian people, Christians, non-Christians, and everyone, Lord. Please help them. Give them a hiding space for themselves and their families. The ones that have passed away or been part of the genocide, make a way where they have a place in heaven with you, Lord, because nobody ever dies. Our souls live forever. I come from African heritage as well, and that's a missing part of my life as well. And so my soul tells me that Nigeria is a beautiful, beautiful place, Lord. I was just talking about on one of my videos how my grandmother told me that I was actually, and our family is connected to the Shaka Zulu people, the Bantu people. And so I appreciate having that as part of my DNA and heritage. And I feel very blessed to have this channel and to be even asked, dear God, for somebody way from Nigeria. I actually get to pray for somebody way from Nigeria, Lord. God, I love you so much, and thank you for the privilege of even someone seeing enough good in me or thinking enough of me to even ask me to pray. I love praying for people, dear God, and I want to continue to pray for people. And thank you so much for asking me to pray for you. I'm very grateful. Since the brother or sister, the brother is a Christian, I will end it by saying, in the name of Jesus Christ, may this prayer be designated to come true to the one most high in heaven, the Lord, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. So let's see. Afenshaw says in Islam, drowning or dying in suju when praying, you are granted heaven, or we call it Jannah. Oh, yeah, exactly. You go to Jannah. Jannah is just Arabic for heaven. Yeah, that's true. In Islam, that is very true. It sure is. And also in Islam, if you die while you're doing a good deed, you're automatically entered into Jannah. That's very, very true. See, that's the thing. Oh, okay. I'm going to pray for Palestine as well, Afenshaw. So, what specifically is going on in Palestine right now? Because I like to be specific in my prayer. So, Afenshaw, what is going on in Palestine that you want me to specifically pray for? Like a certain need? Because the Lord be answering my prayers, y'all. So when I pray for you, things change. Especially since I work very hard to do righteous things. Thank you so much, Chica Chuck, for asking for the prayer for Nigeria. So I'm going to start my prayer for Palestine. Afenshaw, I'll give you time to think, but Lord, I once again come to you. There's a prayer request from Afenshaw. He's came here before to join in with this channel, and I appreciate him so much. And I've seen a lot of tragedy in Palestine. You know, my heart, I've watched videos in Palestine that just brought me to tears, you know, but I've watched good things in Palestine too. And I just will address the creator as Allah in this case, because Afenshaw is a Muslim. And so I appreciate the Muslim brother being here today. So I come to you, Allah, and I wish all the best in Palestine. May the people there somehow find more of a peace and contentment, even though there may be elements in the society that they don't like. Please, Allah, continue to bring us both together, Palestine and the United States, and make us united in one so that we can love one another. And help us in time learn more of each other's languages, because that will be important as we go into these world crises. It's very important that we learn to know what each other's languages are so we can love one another better, Lord. We want to be more unified and get our education together when it comes to things in Palestine. People in the United States need to really look in their souls and consider what we could do to help Palestine more, just so we can show more love, because everyone in Palestine is also our brothers and sisters. Inshallah. May this prayer be granted. And Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. That's one thing about Islam. You're taught the creator is not just good, the creator is great. So that's one thing about the religion of Islam that I really enjoy. I'm very multifaceted when it comes to religion because I've studied on it all. And it's made me a better person, and it's made me less judgmental about people's religions. So let's see here. Fair use, y'all. I'm just going to finish playing the rest of this video that I was doing the reaction on. It's not much of it left on this Faiths Engaged channel.
Dating back to the fall of Eve. Okay, it's in the woman's nature to be like God, especially when she's between the ages of about 19 to 45. Okay, it's in her nature to want to be like God. She looks for validation from men on social media, and this was not the purpose that God has for the woman. Now, if this police officer said anything remotely similar to what I just said, he would be without a job as soon as he finished the press conference.
The police officer, this looks like the sheriff or chief of police here in this town is what he looks like. I liked what the sheriff said, basically. Or the captain, whatever. Let's see if it has his title on here. Yeah. So what the police said was appropriate for the situation. He said he wished it hadn't happened. So I'm not against what the police said. Also, Fates and Gates, the police is not giving a religious sermon. He's saying what's coming from his soul, and he wished it hadn't happened. And I do too. I agree with the police. So what the police said, or the sheriff or chief of police, whatever he said, it's not inappropriate for the situation. What's actually more inappropriate is what Fates and Gates is saying. Because what the chief of police or the sheriff is saying is more realistic, and he's working in that line of work. And he's sad to see another Black woman get killed, is what it sounds like. But Fates and Gates, like I said, the Bible, it's either going to make you an abuser, make you not an abuser, or it's going to make you be an abuse victim. The Bible is also going to help you have a good heart, make you have a bad heart, or make you completely soulless, like you ain't even got a soul or conscience. So the Bible is a book that, depending on which part of it you reading, it's gonna make you have an outcome that may not always be that healthy. Fates and Gates, he's utilizing his Bible, and it's actually making him have less compassion for this sister that passed away. Oh, Afenshaw, let me see. Well, thank you for your attention now. I have to go. I have to watch a TV. I was watching Goodbye, Ma'am. Have a good, beautiful day. You too. And I'm going to be ending this live soon, but I'm just going to finish this reaction right quick. Thank you so much, y'all, for being so patient here.
As soon as he finished the press conference. All right, guys like this are not paid to consider the ways of the Lord and meditate on the word day and night. All right, men who are far above his pay grade, they want to make sure that they break the bank off of murderers spending life in prison. And they make sure to give this mannequin a script to read and make it seem as though law enforcement is interested in doing more.
That's wrong how he called the sheriff a mannequin. And this is why. I pointed this out earlier. I'm glad Fates and Gates said it because it just proved my point. I talked about this earlier, that Fates and Gates on his YouTube channel, the video I saw of him, he doesn't take very good care of himself. He's not well groomed. He appears to be very obese or morbidly obese. He's not a well put together man, just naturally taking care of himself. Okay. And when I say that, I don't mean you have to have on expensive jewelry and clothes. You could just tell when somebody ain't trying. They ain't working out. They ain't walking. So Fates and Gates, I pointed this out earlier in my video, that he's a jealous man. He's very envious of Ringo TV. But Ringo TV, that's a real handsome man that's taking care of his family, taking care of his business. Ringo TV is not involved in no systematic poverty. So I stated this earlier. Fates and Gates, YouTuber, or the content creator, he's a jealous man. He's just like a woman, just like how some women, they might glance over at me, and if they think I'm pretty, they might get jealous. Men are like that towards other men. So he called this sheriff or the chief of police, whoever this is talking in that state, because he's not just the police. Whoever's speaking, he's a lieutenant, he's the chief of police, or he's the sheriff that's over the police. You could tell by his badges and stuff. He looked like the sheriff. So, or the chief of police. So he called him a mannequin. He calling one black man. He calling another black man a mannequin. He calling him a mannequin because he's well groomed and he look nice, y'all. So see, when I point out things of the spirit about people, I told y'all I'm 99.9% accurate. Didn't I tell y'all earlier that Faison Gates is a jealous man? He develops personal jealousy towards other men, no different than how a lady would be jealous of another lady. I just told y'all that. So he just proved my point. So that's why he called the man a mannequin, because the man is real groomed. The chief of police, sheriff, or captain, whoever he is of the police department on this video, he looked real handsome. His hair is cut. He got his policing uniform on properly. It's clean. This man then took his shower and bath. This man is cleaned up and well put together. And so Faison Gates has not mastered that because he's reading the Bible all day and night. He might have did this video and ain't washed his ass. Okay, so he's jealous of another man that looks like a mannequin to him, because when he says the sheriff or chief of police or captain looks like a mannequin, he's describing his physical beauty. And men can be beautiful as well. He's jealous of that man's physical beauty. And I will be putting this video in the description box. Remember, I'm going to do that. So you can, within 15 minutes of this live ending, you can go in my description box and click on the video. And I appreciate the positive comments today, y'all. It really was very encouraging. Very, very encouraging. And it made me really happy I did this live. I had thought about not doing a live today. And so I'm really glad that I did do a live. Let me see. Gave this stream a like and left a supportive note. Live creation is different kind of work. Yes, it is. How to spell Mark? Mark, you're right about that. It is different. I'm broadcasting right now as well. Yeah, I responded to that. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'm gonna check your channel out, okay? I'm interested to see what your live streams are about. So I'll go check it out. I did a little quick screenshot so I can know where to go to check it out. So fair use, y'all, fair use.
Interested in doing more to protect life. I've talked about this several times.
And this chief of police or sheriff, he is doing more to protect life. He's not sitting on a video. This sheriff, captain, or chief of police, he's not sitting on a video on YouTube calling her wedding beautiful. He's not contributing to more women getting murdered because this police officer is not happy about it. He's doing more good trying to stop crime and, you know, telling us he didn't even like that it's happening, okay? So some police officers, they get in that line of work because they enjoy saving lives. Not all police officers are bad. Some just there to get paid, but in general, many of them want to save lives. So, I mean, Faison Gates, he don't care that this woman died. I mean, it sounds like he feels like in a subtle way that just because she's a cheater, she deserves some kind of death. I mean, he's very passive aggressively speaking less value on her life. Even called her wedding beautiful, and he devalued the fact, Fates and Gates, he devalued the fact that her friends and family were trying to stop the wedding. That shows you right there where his heart is at. I'm happy that her friends and family tried to stop her wedding because she ended up getting murdered by the man she married. But she didn't listen. She was 24 years old, like a big old kid, basically, going back to science. When is your brain fully developed? When are you grown? Science says 25 years old. But Fates and Gates, he said she grown, and like her friends and family was stopping some kind of blessing. This marriage that she got involved in is not no blessing. Proof that it's not a blessing because of how it ended. It ended with her losing her life. She experienced an early death date. That's what happened. This wasn't her time to go. She made it her time to go. This case actually proves my point about death dates. If she would have listened to her friends and family, she wouldn't have got killed. She wouldn't have a death date. This woman could have lived till she was 95 years old if she would have listened to her friends and family. So because she didn't listen to her friends and family, here's her death date. Her death date is now at 24 years old, married to this 52-year-old man. This is sick. 28 years older than this woman. That's too many age, too many years. I told you my perspective. I used to think 10 years, somebody older or younger was okay. Now I give it 15. And that's because I've been around couples that have a 15-year age gap, and it pretty much seemed like they kind of the same age, but 28 years, that's too many years. I could marry a man up to 15 years older than me or up to 15 years younger than me. But if a man is 28 years younger than me or 28 years older than me, that's too many years. He's old enough to be my daddy. Now, up to 15 years older than me or younger than, or older, I'll say up to 15 years older than me, he's not old enough to be my daddy because he shouldn't have had no baby at no 15. But 28 years, this is borderline disgusting. 52 years old, and not even being a mature 52-year-old, this man, Ron Christopher Allen. He married Malia Best, but he's not even a mature 52-year-old. He's actually more immature. That's why she's dead. She didn't marry a mature man. She might have been able to find a 30-year-old man that was more mature than this 52-year-old man. There's 30-year-old men that don't pop pills, that's not in the criminal justice system, that won't kill you. I wish she had listened to her friends and family. That would have been beautiful to me. I don't think like Fates and Gates. I don't think her wedding is beautiful. I think her wedding is part of the tragedy. I can't look at that wedding and see any beauty in it because I know what happened to her. But Fates and Gates, this Negro sees beauty in her wedding. He has a severe mental problem, y'all. To know that this lady got killed and he sees beauty in her wedding. No, I don't see any beauty in it. I see some of the red flags. See, when I looked at the little wedding clip he showed, I see the way the abuser walking, his height, the abnormalities, the fakeness in the abuser's smile. I see stuff like that.
In this series, as it relates to each fatality presented in these episodes. In this case, in order for police to protect this woman from getting gunned down by her husband, they would have to have 2 units follow her to work every day. I mean, something like that. Okay. And even then, officers would have to be prepared to get into a shootout meaning more casualties. Okay, the government.
I do agree with that. What Faiths and Gates is saying about the level of security that would be needed to stop her murder, as far as if the policing department were to handle it, that's what would need to happen. But that's not what the policing department offers. The policing department, they not your 24-hour security. That's why when her friends and family told her not to marry the man, that's the solution, to not marry him in the first place. Because marrying him gives him the power. See, when you marry a man like this, because this man know about the Bible too, this 52-year-old man that she married, he knew about the Bible too. So remember, I said it either makes him an abuser, not an abuser, or a victim. So he became an abuser, this 52-year-old man.
Meaning more casualties. Okay, the government can't sleep in your bedroom with you. Okay, they are not God, and they are only interested in protecting life if it stimulates the economy. Okay, that's real talk.
Friends describe Malia as a mature, career-driven woman who always looked out for others. It should never end like this, no matter the situation. Some people said she had tried to leave him even after he caught her with another man. Some people blame Malia for cheating on Ron, while others blame Ron for doing what he did. Our sincere condolences to the friends and families of Malia Bess. May Malia's memory be a blessing for her family and for all who knew her, and may her life and death be an inspiration and a turning point towards justice and increased protection for domestic abuse survivors.
They always got this robotic white man's voice. May her life and death be an...
That's sad. Faiths and Gates, when he does this, he has no conscience or remorse about the victim. Listen to what he's going to say, y'all.
Inspiration for increased protection for domestic violence victims. You know, dumb rhetorical nonsense. That's
not dumb rhetorical nonsense. He called it a robotic white man. I actually like that robotic white man's voice. What Faiths and Gates calls the robotic white man, he says, may her life and death be an inspiration for increased protection for domestic violence victims. That's a nice thing that the man said. So Faiths and Gates calls it, dumb rhetorical nonsense. That's mean. So Faiths and Gates is very mean. It's not dumb and rhetorical. It's nothing dumb about saying may, and I'm going to say her name, Malia Bess. It's nothing dumb about saying may Malia Bess, may her life and death be an inspiration for increased protection for domestic violence victims. She is a domestic violence victim because she was murdered by someone she married. So Faiths and Gates, this is a Bible person now. This is someone that's really into the Bible. He says that's dumb and rhetorical. See, just knowing about a Bible and reading it, it don't give you a good heart, y'all. Not for everybody. Your nature is kind of natural too. It doesn't have a lot to do with the Bible. Always. The Bible can help you have a better heart, but watch out for religious men like this. This man, Faiths and Gates, hate ladies. This is a very hateful statement. He said these nice words that what he claimed is the white man said, may her life and death be an inspiration for increased protection for domestic violence victims. Faiths and Gates calls this dumb and rhetorical and nonsense. What's nonsense about wishing well and wishing protection for more victims? What's dumb about that? Don't we want these murders not to happen? See, he just contradicted himself. Faiths and Gates, earlier he was saying that's not what the police want that was speaking. But later in the video, actually, he's projecting because he's saying the police don't want the murders to stop. Who don't want them to stop is Fates and Gates. That's why he called what this white robot is how he worded it. He called it dumb and rhetorical nonsense. Fates and Gates don't really want it to stop. And how I know he don't want it to stop, he teaches the stupidity that ladies can't teach. One of the things that ladies should be teaching themselves is not to date abusers so that they're not murdered so often and so regular in the United States and everywhere. All ladies need to stop abuse and see red flags. Your friends and family that are clairvoyants and that have the gift of prophecy told her not to marry this man. So may Malia Best rest in peace, but I just wanted to point out how Fates and Gates, he's mean. He don't care nothing about this lady life, and he ended up basically saying what he thought the police felt. He said the police chief or whatever don't care, but he the one don't care. Fates and Gates don't care, because that's why he called this nice statement that he called a white man robot, saying he called it dumb and rhetorical nonsense. It's not nonsense to not want more people killed and to wish well upon this lady's life and to inspire increased protection. That's not nonsense.
And just follow the money.
That's a very healthy thing to say.
Keep it simple. That the so-called white man gets filthy rich off of the homicide units. These the same devils.
That is true. I mean, there is money being made and a lot of employment being made, but this ain't about the white man. Didn't no white man kill this black lady. This is about what black men is doing. I get tired of that too. Black men always want to deflect towards the white man. White men are not killing one black woman every 5.5 hours in the United States. That's black men doing that. Black guys like this, Fates and Gates, this black guy like this, he should talk about black men, because that's who's doing these murders. What the white man got to do with this? The white man did not murder her. She didn't marry no white man. She married a black man. But Fates and Gates, he's more concerned about the white man. This murder ain't got nothing to do with the white man. This has all to do with this particular black man that's 52 years old, that's a killer, and he kills a girl. She a girl, 24 years old. This ain't no woman. Like I told y'all in other videos, I'm a lady and I'm a girl. I don't like being called no woman because it got man on it. It's disrespectful to men. I'm not no woman. It's only one woman, and that's Eve, because she came from Adam's rib. The rest of us are girls and ladies. So, yeah, so Fates and Gates, his heart ain't right, and he could keep reading the Bible all day and night. He's still not going to have no good heart. Actually, him reading the Bible too much is destroying the heart that he could have. And that's because he's silly enough to believe all of it. And his Bible has taught him that there's a double standard, as if women are less than. So Fates and Gates, guys like this, unattractive, mean, jealous-hearted dude, not really studied up on more things, then maybe he should watch more crime cases. If he watched more crime cases about black women getting killed, I don't know what kind of relationship he got with his mama. Fates and Gates seemed like a man that don't like his mama. I ain't heard him ever say nothing good about his mama. But then he'll talk about Ringo TV like a dog. But Ringo TV cares about his mama and loves his mama, and she's deceased. So be careful with YouTubers that don't tell you nothing about their life, but they're passing all kind of judgment and advice. But Faith and Gates, I don't know nothing about this man's background. I don't know if he just came out the penitentiary himself. He might have just did 25 years in the pen while he talking about everybody else. So try to support more YouTubers that are more forthcoming. Like when you come here, you're on a good road to supporting me because I share about my life. You can actually get an honest perspective of who I really am. Okay, so
who facilitate drugs in impoverished communities to purposely increase the crime rate. Okay, but it's up to the people to use their brains, read the scriptures, look at what's going on around you, and stop being a spectator. Okay. And this is why I start this channel, so that we can have conversations about this in the comments in this forum. All right. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments and enjoy the rest of your day.
I would never leave a comment on his channel because, for one, I don't even want to be on his radar like that, right? And I would never leave a comment on his channel because he's not really supporting and being more positive and feeling sorry about her death. So I don't leave a comment on his channel. This possessed Bible hypocrite, I wouldn't even want him to know I exist. So on my channel, I kind of discuss people, but somewhat keep it confidential. Like I wouldn't put his name in any of my titles on my videos or anything like that. But Faith and Gates, he has no room to judge Ringo TV. Faith and Gates is disgusting. If you really want to learn something and keep up to date on the news and stuff like that, I was watching one Ringo TV live, and he was talking about a stimulus check or something that's going to be mailed out, or I forgot what he called it, a stipend check. I'm not sure what he called it, but Faith and Gates, he's not bringing you out of poverty. Faith and Gates, I ain't heard him mention nothing about check your mail because Trump sent a check out last week. Faith and Gates ain't talking like that. I'm just doing a reaction on it to show you how these type of Black guys hate Black women. I mean, he's more supportive of the murder. Remember, he said the murderer got a chance to go to heaven, but the victim don't. That's so backwards. He don't think the victim got a chance on heaven, but the killer do. And I gave you my perspective of murder. Even Afin Shah. I think it was Afin Shah left the comment that, murders that would be more acceptable and you still be granted heaven or Jannah, because Afin Shah is Muslim, those would be self-defense murders. So stop believing that people can just kill people and play God and ask for some kind of forgiveness and they actually go into a heaven. I would recommend highly not to necessarily believe that because it's not logical. And it contributes to more killings. Of course people murder because the Bible tells them they can just ask for this magical forgiveness and it's just all okay. Now, what if the Bible said murder is not forgivable? It might be less murders. But the Bible says, oh, you got a Lord that's going to forgive you. It's crazy. It don't make sense. When you really, really look at the logic, I know that don't make sense. That's why I'm not out here killing people. That's why I ain't committed a murder. Because I don't believe that especially a murder that's committed by someone that's not a teenager. And I explain what a teenager is, 19 and under. Those are teenagers. You can look into a 19-year-old eyes and still see the child. They're a big child. But even with that, with those teens that commit murders, they would have to, if they're allowed to get out of prison, they got to dedicate their whole life to the Lord. See, a murderer, someone that's killed someone, especially not in self-defense, they have to do a lot of work. They have to do a lot of work as they live out their days to assure their heaven. I don't have to do as much as the murderer because I never killed anybody. I can do my basics and do what the Lord wants me to do, but a murderer needs to really try because they want to secure eligibility into heaven. So I believe a murderer has to try even harder than I do. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I'm getting ready to end this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Fair use, y'all. And remember, I'm going to put this video in the description box whenever I do reactions. I always put it in the description box. So within about 10 minutes of this live ending, I'm going to release the live to the public. Okay. And then I will put this under my fair use videos. Okay. So again, please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more right here with Advanced Insight channel. I appreciate y'all so much. Click a like. Thank you so much for the nice comments. I really enjoyed this live. I didn't think it would go this long, but hey, we made it, y'all. We made it. Again, I'm wishing the best as well to Palestine and Nigeria. May things get better. I love y'all. Thank you so much for hanging in here with the live. I appreciate y'all so much. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. I stayed on this live so long that my lungs are just all the way cleared out, y'all. Thank the Lord in heaven. May the Lord bless all of y'all. I'm going to end this with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless all of y'all. Please click a like. So I'm going to be ending the live, but within 10 minutes of this live ending, I will have the description box updated and I will be releasing the live to the public right away. Please click a like, y'all. Thank you. Bye. Tune in for more right here with Advanced Insight channel.